Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I am hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So, I've been getting a little bit of a complaint of a quiet audio, hopefully, for those that have been having difficulties hearing me. Maybe have like a, because most people say they could hear me fine, but if you have like a, just a lower audio on your device or anything you're watching this video on, maybe that's the reason. So obviously I want everyone to be, experience a good experience with this video, so I increase the audio. Hopefully it sounds better. But as I mentioned, today's a long-range outlook. The temperatures are going to be warm and generally calm. The severe weather may calm down. I don't think there will be such big storms, but severe weather is so drastic, so dramatic that it could come out of nowhere. I mean, we could have just a cold front associated with a weak low pressure that doesn't even necessarily need to be in the United States perimeters. Could be out in Canada, dragging a cold front down, produce some severe winds, large hail. We don't know, but at this point, doesn't seem too awfully bad. But again, the temperatures are going to be warm. We're getting into active season or active time of the year, so definitely keep an eye on that. So if you'd like to support this channel, you could consider becoming a subscriber. And if you really want to support this channel, go out of your way to help me. That is, you could support me on Patreon. Click the link in the description box below. So let's just jump into this. We're looking at the GFS model. This is getting recorded on the 19th of April. What am I looking at? Okay, 19th of April, 2019. I don't know why that was confusing. So I'm recording this on Friday, Good Friday. You'll be watching this on Saturday. And happy Easter, because I may or may not be making a video on Sunday or tomorrow. So happy Easter to all of you. It is a very important holiday, and we take it very seriously. It is a day of remorse Friday and a day of joy on Sunday. So let's go into our 6-12. You see a big storm that's been producing. I know people have been saying I've been slacking with the severe weather. I apologize, guys. There's been a couple of things that have keeping me busy. But again, there was severe weather. There were some severe thunderstorms, and this storm will be moving out of the way. Not too fast, but will be moving out. Then we see another system starting to develop here, but it doesn't really fully take shape like the other one did. There's just bits and pieces of this, but there's definitely could be some pockets of severe weather. Look right here, maybe potentially Tuesday across Kansas. The next couple of days look really warm. So, warm temperatures, moisture, that's all it requires. I mean, not all, but that's two of the main ingredients in terms of severe weather. And this doesn't turn out into a huge storm, but again, we need warmth, moisture, we need a little bit of instability, a little bit of disturbance, to kind of like a spark to a big fire. And we could see some significant severe weather. Look at that, a snowstorm to the north in Canada, most likely not impacting our areas. And then we see just a general warm pattern, but nothing too shocking, nothing too ridiculous in terms of big storms. This is the time of the year where it's summer. Big storms are, well, summer, it's mid-spring, and we're getting into the time of the year where big storms just aren't formed as easily. The atmosphere is not willing to produce such large storms. The atmosphere is much more violent and aggressive, and it just produces outbursts. And during the day, it produces a bunch of, it's called mesoscale clusters. These things develop in the evening, go through the night, produce severe weather, severe thunderstorms. They dissipate during the day, re-amp during the night. But there's not like consistently large big storms. The last one we saw was this one that we were just dealing with, and this one may be the last one that's going to be that big for quite a while, because it does not look as if we will be looking at a major system in anytime soon. So with this system, associated with this system was a lot of cold air. It came wrapped in with this moisture with this system, and that's just very typical. The system sometimes can produce it itself if it doesn't have a resource to tap it from. The rain, cooled air, it's just kind of like a compound interest, if you want to view it that way. The rain, the clouds, and it grows and it cools off. The soil turns cold, and it's just the low manages to spit out the cold temperatures, while we see warm air to the north moving up, and the cold lingers across the southeast and the east for a little bit and across the north. but generally look at that, fairly warm. Maybe this is the time of the year again where things are very not like winter. And obviously it's summer, so you may be thinking that's obvious, but there's a lot of alarming things that are different in the summertime. So again, I already mentioned there's not big storms. There's no big storms that occur other than hurricanes. There's not, widespread massive systems that occur until we get back into late or early fall, late fall, and winter. Also, don't see defined temperature contrast. We don't see ridges and troughs. We see just these random areas, almost random. There's obviously an explanation after each of them, but look at that, a little bit colder, warmer here, and then boom, we just see, let's see, where is this, a much colder area, and then it kind of disappears and we see more cold air. And so it's weird. It definitely isn't, it's completely different pattern almost, if you want to call it that way. It's something completely different. You got to get used to it. And this, it's just very hard to predict in terms of just like the climatology. You need to look at the more specific, like where the wind is coming from, what's going on in terms of the precipitation field. Is there a storm? So many of these below average, they're not going to be insanely below average. They're going to be either, there could be really above average, and that is associated with the high pressure, potentially warm air from the south. But with cold air, it's mainly, if there's cloud cover or a little bit cooler off the lakes, maybe a wind blowing off, that's mainly where you'll get the below average. But otherwise, it's, it's fairly not too broad and wide, and we could still see a couple of areas like that. You can see the models are hinting at that, but generally a warm pattern. So let's go to 2 meter temperature shaded. I want to show you, just go from 0, 0, so today as I'm recording this, and we got up into the 50. It wasn't an awfully warm day. It was actually fairly cold. It wasn't hot, but it was chilly across the north. I mean, you can see 60s and 50s, yeah, but that's nothing compared to what we will see tomorrow or on Sunday. And then again, look how cold it was where the storm was. Very chilly. And look at that. Very, very fascinating. A 70s going up. It's warmer in North Dakota than it is in possibly Atlanta, Georgia, which actually happens more often than you'd like to think. So many areas in the northern plains, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, get warmer than some areas in the Ohio Valley associated with these big storms. And you can see that it generally stays fairly warm, and it continues to stay warm as we go on into Monday, the start of the work week, and a little cool off for the north. Again, that's an area of where we saw on the map of blues, but generally warm across the south. And then as soon as you'd be thinking, it's cooling off again, it's going to turn cold, we see a resurgence of warmth. And at this point, whether it's above or below average, it's not going to make a huge difference because it's going to be warm nevertheless. There could be a difference between, beamingly hot temperatures and slightly, comfortable, but it's not going to be between hot and cold. I mean, it's almost May at this point, hour 168. Most of the country will be 40s, 50s, and above. Only the higher elevations during the nights will get down into the 30s and below freezing. And I want to show you this, but just look at these colors. Very warm, especially across the southeast, 90s potentially. Very good conditions, and everything will start exploding in a garden, blooming. It will catch on you faster than you think it will. Before you know it, it will be almost too late to plant certain things like your brassicas and your early season crops like broccoli and cauliflower, as those need cooler temperatures. Let's go to the 6 to 10 day outlook. This is April 25th through the 29th, and again, look, most of the country above average, maybe a little bit chillier across the northwest and Alaska. Precipitation probability finally drier across the Midwest. And I know that many people have been absolutely getting slammed by the rain. I mean, there's been like 4 storms in the past week. It's been ridiculous. I have a pear tree in my backyard, and you literally go by it and you just hear like a slushing of water, and that's never good because the roots can rot. It needs to be well drained, so definitely a good relief, but still relatively wet in the southeast, potentially in maybe the northern plains. 8 to 14 day outlook, May 27th through May 3rd. Still above average, maybe a little bit chilly in the north. Obviously, they're lighter colors because they have less confidence in it being above average, because this is what it measures. Okay, the video is going to stop in a couple of seconds. And now we are back. So, I wanted to say that this map does show it measures the confidence to see 40-50% of probability of above. So obviously it's 8 to 14 day outlook. It will go down in general, but it still remains above average. And in terms of precip, just kind of these, wherever the thunderstorm set up, wherever a potential cold front sets up, that's what it will be above or below average. You can see just kind of random areas, almost like a loop around the below average, a little bit below average in northwest. So an interestingly warm pattern, just an interesting pattern. And I would like to again thank you guys so much for continuing to stick with this YouTube channel. Summer is always kind of a downtime for this YouTube channel. Never really does much, but if you want to continue to support this channel, you can do so by subscribing, liking the video, leaving a nice comment, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.